Alex Cardinale. Entertainment all day. Click, dive deep. Color on the screen runs free. Tropical fins, bright reef. Whole ocean.
I'm Alex Cardinale, and I personally would like to welcome you to this presentation of the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this special live stream right here on A.C.E.
Several murder cases often occur in several parts of the world. It is very difficult to reveal this case. An investigation needs to be carried out by the police. The investigation will be carried out by police officers. The evidence will be analyzed by a team from the forensic laboratory. And the results of the examination from the forensic laboratory will be given to detectives to be developed into information. The results of the analysis will be used to create an investigation report anatomic of crime. The report will be adjusted according to witness statements and indicative evidence.
Unlock the mysteries with Detective Alex Cardinale. Hey fellow detectives and crime junkies, welcome to On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale. Get ready to dive into a world of crime and mystery. Join Detective Cardinale as he explores crimes of all kinds, from rapes and murders to robberies and more. Ever wonder what crimes took place 10 to 20 years ago? What can we learn from these past enigmas? Tune in right now to find out. Why watch? Engaging analysis. Detective Cardinale brings his expert insights and captivating storytelling to unravel some of the most perplexing cases. Educational insights. Learn about investigative techniques and the intricacies of solving crimes. Historical perspective. Discover how past crimes have shaped current law enforcement practices. Remember, keeping our communities safe starts with you. If you see something suspicious, don't hesitate to report it by calling 911. Remember, if you see something, say something. Let's welcome our host from Port St. Lucie, Florida, Detective Alex Cardinale, as he takes you on a thrilling journey into the heart of the criminal world. Don't miss out on this captivating experience. Tune in now and be part of the adventure.
Hello, fellow crime lovers. Welcome to On the Case with me, Detective Alex Cardinale. And on this episode, we're on the case for perhaps one of the worst serial killers in American history and possibly world history. Tonight we're talking about a killer known as the stroke and choke killer Samuel Little, aka Sam Little. Now, this man was very devious in his murders. He was able to murder some of his victims where police originally thought they died of a drug overdose or natural causes. Samuel Little's method of killing was strangulation, and he was so precise at strangulation that a lot of his victims did not look like homicide victims, unfortunately. So, on this episode of On the Case, we're going to dive into the stroke and choke killer, Sam Little. We'll learn about who Sam Little is. We'll learn what made him into a serial killer. We'll learn how he differs from other serial killers and more. As always, I appreciate you tuning in and joining me for this crime episode. If you have any questions, post them in the chat, and feel free to share your thoughts in the chat as well. So, that being said, let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start by discussing who is Sam Little. Here is some information about Sam Little. Now, Sam Little was an American serial killer officially designed by the FBI as the most prolific serial killer in United States history. Now, the FBI has designated the Samuel Little as the most prolific serial killer in U.S. history. So he is the worst of the worst here in America. Samuel Little was born in 1940 and he died in 2020. Between 1970 and 2005, Samuel Little confessed to murdering 93 women across 19 states. While he was only convicted of 8 murders during his lifetime, law enforcement has definitively linked him to over 60 victims, surpassing the records of notorious killers like Ted Bundy and Gary Ridgway. Here are some key facts to know. Targeted victims. Samuel Little deliberately chose marginalized and vulnerable women, including sex workers and those struggling with drug addiction. He believed law enforcement would not prioritize their cases, which allowed him to evade capture for 4 decades. Method of killing. He was known as a hedonistic lust murderer who primarily strangled his victims. Because he often left no signs of a struggle, many of these deaths were originally misclassified as drug overdoses or natural causes. The sketches. Little possessed a photographic memory. While in prison, he provided the FBI with dozens of hand drawn, high detail portraits of his victims from memory, which investigators used to solve cold cases decades old. Capture. He was finally caught in 2012 at a homeless shelter in Kentucky after DNA evidence linked him to 3 cold case murders in Los Angeles from the 1980s. Death. Sam Little died in a Los Angeles hospital on December 30th, 2020, at the age of 80. He suffered from various health issues, including diabetes and heart problems. Criminal timeline and scope. Period and activity. 1970 to 2005. He confessed a murder spree that spanned 19 states. So in 19 states, he murdered many victims from 1970 to 2005. In 2012, Sam Little was arrested on narcotics charges and linked via DNA to murders from Los Angeles. In 2014, he was convicted of 3 counts of murder and was sentenced to life without parole. In 2018, he began confessing to the additional 90 murders to Texas Ranger James Holland. And in December of 2020, this perverse, this disgusting human being died at the age of 80. And that is a great introduction to the stroke and choke serial killer Sam Little, who killed 93 victims. Now, let's talk about the making of this serial killer. Let's find out how Sam Little became a serial killer. Shall we? The Sam Little story. How did he become a serial killer? All right, Sam Little's transition into a serial killer was driven by a lifelong psychological fixation on strangulation, which he eventually acted upon while living a transient life that allowed him to evade detection for decades. The making of a killer, psychological roots. Samuel Little's compulsion began in childhood. He claimed his first sexual arousal occurred at age 5 while watching his kindergarten teacher touch her neck. As a teenager, he collected true crime magazines featuring female strangulation victims, which both fueled his fantasies and taught him how to avoid leaving forensics evidence. Motivation. He described the urge to kill as a natural, uncontrollable hunger, similar to the need for sex or drugs. He believed he was put on this earth by God to do what he was doing. Early life and escalation. Born to a mother he described as a lady of the night, Little was largely raised by his grandmother in Ohio. Before committing his first murder at age 29, he had an extensive criminal record involving burglary, assault, and rape. The murders. First known victim. Authorities believe his first murder was Mary Brosley in Miami, Florida on New Year's Eve 1970. He met her at a bar, drove her to a secluded area, and strangled her. Method of operation, aka his modus operandi. Selection. He targeted marginalized women, sex workers, and drug addicts, believing law enforcement would not prioritize their cases. The killing. He typically used his boxing skills to knock victims unconscious before manually strangling them. Avoiding detection. Because he often left no signs of a struggle, like stab or gunshot wounds, many of his victims' deaths were misclassified as drug overdoses or natural causes. Scope of crimes. The victim count. Samuel Little confessed to 93 murders committed between 1970 and 2005 across 19 states. Confirmed cases. While he was only convicted of 8 murders, the FBI's Violent Criminal Apprehension Program has definitively verified at least 60 of his confessions. Memory and sketches. Little possessed a photographic memory, providing detailed sketches of his victims decades after the crimes, which became a vital tool for investigators to solve cold cases. And that is how Sam Little became a serial killer. And now we're going to talk about the MO of Sam Little, the modus operandi of Sam Little. Now, the modus operandi of Sam Little was designed to ensure his victims' deaths would either go unnoticed or be misclassified as non-criminal, allowing him to evade capture for over 40 years. Target selection, the less dead. Sam Little exclusively targeted women he considered less dead, marginalized individuals such as prostitutes, sex workers, drug addicts, and transients. He deliberately stayed in the ghetto, believing the law enforcement would not prioritize investigation into their disappearance or deaths. Interaction and subdual. Luring. He would often charm victims by offering cash, drugs, or a ride in his vehicle. Physical force. Once they were in a vulnerable location, usually his car or a remote area, Little would use his skills as a former competitive boxer to knock them senseless with a single powerful blow to the head. This ensured they could not fight back and left no obvious defensive wounds. Method of killing, manual strangulation. He was great at strangling his victims. Little almost always strangled his victims manually. Suffocation versus strangulation. His technique was often so precise, It resembled suffocation. He frequently avoided breaking the hyoid bone in the neck, and that takes precision. He definitely was a precise serial killer who knew how to strangle somebody. Lack of evidence. Because he never used weapons like knives or guns, and his strangulation often left minimal external trauma, many deaths were incorrectly ruled as accidental drug overdoses or natural causes. Disposal of bodies. Samuel Little typically dumped bodies in remote or discreet locations to ensure they wouldn't be found immediately. Common locations: alleys, dumpsters, garages, or wooden areas alongside highways. So, places you'd find his victims would be the alleys, dumpsters, garages, or wooden areas. Mobility. He lived a nomadic life, frequently moving between 19 different states, which prevented local jurisdictions from connecting his crimes. The choke and stroke signature. While his MO was the method used to commit the crime, his behavioral signature was driven by a sexual fixation on strangulation. He often kept victims alive and awake during the assault because he derived pleasure from holding them while they cried. He would typically masturbate while strangling them, a practice that led investigators to refer to him as the choke and stroke killer. Wow. So basically, as he's choking out his victims, as he's suffocating his victims, he's masturbating to them. That is absolutely disgusting. Sam Little is probably one of the worst sickos that I've ever talked about here on the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale. All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick break here on the case. Coming up next, we're going to talk about how does Sam Little compare to other serial killers. That's next here on the Case. But first, I want to invite you to some upcoming live streams that I have coming up for you. Tomorrow, on episode 2 of Turning Point, I'm going to be talking about the worst mass shootings in American history. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, on episode 2 of Turning Point, learn about the worst mass shootings in history, such as the Columbine shooting, Sandy Hook, and more. That's tomorrow on episode 2 of Turning Point, our tragedy program. Don't miss the 200th episode of Saturday with Alex Cardinale, live Saturday, April 25th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Celebrate 200 episodes with me, no glitches this time. And on May 23rd, it is the biggest Saturday of 2026. Get ready to celebrate 4 years of Saturday with Alex Cardinale on May 23rd. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk about how Sam Little compares to other serial killers. But first, let's hear a word from Saturday with Dallas Cardinale, our flagship program, about some of the awesome shows that are coming your way.
Celebrate 200 episodes of Saturday with Alex Cardinale. Join us for an unforgettable evening as we celebrate the milestone 200th episode of Saturday with Alex Cardinale, airing live on Saturday, April 25th, 2026, at 9 p.m. Eastern/6 p.m. Pacific. What to expect? Aqua Alex will introduce new fish from Cindy's Pet Shop and Aquarium Center. Aqua Alex will also showcase stunning new koi from Blackwater Creek Koi Farms. Watch as Alex Cardinale reviews and tries the intriguing Dirty Mountain Dew. Delight in mouth-watering recipes from Chef Alex and more exciting surprises. Don't miss out on this special celebration. Mark your calendars and join the fun on April 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time / 6 p.m. Pacific Time. See you there. Celebrate Mother's Weekend with Alex Cardinale. Join us for a special Mother's Saturday with your mom's favorite YouTuber, Alex Cardinale. Event details: date, Saturday, May 10th, 2026. Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time / 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Where YouTube channel Alex Cardinale Entertainment. What to expect Mother's Day. Recipes: delight in delicious recipes crafted by Chef Alex himself. Mother's Day weekend activities. Discover fun and exciting activities to enjoy with your mom. Dining out tips. Learn the best tips for a memorable dining experience. Reasons to love your mom. Celebrate the special bond with heartwarming reasons to appreciate your mom. Don't miss out on this heartwarming celebration. Mark your calendars and join us on Saturday, May 10th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time / 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Let's make it a Mother's Day weekend to remember. Get ready for the biggest Saturday with Alex Cardinale of 2026. Join us in celebrating 4 incredible years of Saturday with Alex Cardinale. This special anniversary show is airing live on Saturday, May 23rd, 2026 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time / 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You won't want to miss this spectacular event. What's happening? Karen's return. Relive Saturday with Alex's greatest moments. Aqua Alex gets new fish, Aqua Alex pond update, surprise cameo appearances, and more exciting surprises. Tune in on Saturday, May 23rd at 9 p.m. Eastern / 6 p.m. Pacific on the YouTube channel Alex Cardinale Entertainment. Mark your calendars and get ready for an unforgettable night. See you there.
All right, welcome back to On the Case with me, Detective Alex Cardinale, and tonight we are talking about the choke and stroke serial killer, Sam Little. And he is absolutely a disgusting serial killer. I cannot get over the fact that as he's strangling his victims, he is masturbating to it. It is absolutely disgusting. But right now we're going to talk about how Sam Little differs from other serial killers. Now, Sam Little is uniquely distinguished from other serial killers by the sheer scale of his crimes and his prodigious memory, which allowed him to avoid capture and later provide a visual map of his decades-long spree. Now, while infamous killers like Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer are known for their high profiles, Sam Little's differences lie in his methods and his honesty once caught. Sheer volume, the most prolific, surpassing the icons. With 93 confessions and over 60 confirmed victims, Sam Little killed more people than Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, and Jeffrey Dahmer combined. That is an incredible fact in itself, because Sam Little killed a lot of people. Now, Ted Bundy killed 30 plus people, John Wayne Gacy killed 33 people, and Jeffrey Dahmer killed 17. But Samuel Little killed more than all those icons together. Duration. His spree spanned 35 years, 1970 to 2005, across 19 states. a geographic and temporal scale rarely seen in other American serial killers. Photographic memory and artistry, visual confessions. Unlike other killers who might be vague or boastful, Samuel Little possessed a photographic memory. He provided the FBI with dozens of hand drawn portraits of his victims decades after their deaths, which investigators used to definitively close cold cases. Uncanny accuracy. Investigators noted that while he struggled with specific dates, his physical descriptions of victims and crime scenes were almost never proven wrong. Strategic invisible modus operandi. The less dead, Little was highly strategic in targeting marginalized women, particularly black women, sex workers, and those with addictions. He explicitly stated he stayed in the ghetto because he knew law enforcement would not prioritize their disappearances. Misclassification of deaths. His method, manual strangulation, often without breaking the neck's hyoid bone, meant many deaths were ruled accidental drug overdoses or natural causes. This prevented police from even realizing a murder had been committed, let alone a serial killer was active. Temperament and cooperation, lack of boasting. Unlike Henry Lee Lucas, who infamously lied to inflate his kill count, or Bundy, who played manipulative games with investigators, Samuel Little was described as frank and direct. If he didn't do a crime, he simply said, I didn't do it. The likable killer. Detectives and interviewers often noted that Samuel Little did not give off a creepy vibe. He was described as personable and easygoing, which is how he was able to lure victims into his car without alarm. And that is how Sam Little differs from other serial killers. So he's definitely smart because he does things much differently than the other serial killers, and he was able to avoid capture for 40 years. So, how did Sam Little get caught? That's exactly what we're going to talk about in 1 second. But I do want to remind everyone, if you are enjoying this episode, please smash that like button. Please feel free to share your thoughts on this case by commenting. And if you're enjoying this episode, please share it on social media. And if you are a new viewer, I definitely recommend subscribing for more crime videos, tragedy videos, fish keeping videos, and more. Hit that subscribe button for the Alex Cardinale Entertainment. Are you enjoying this episode of On the Case? Great. Want to learn about more crime cases? Check out my playlist at youtube.com/ at Alex Cardinale 2026 and go to the On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale playlist to learn about all of my other crime cases that I covered. Alright, right now, let's go ahead and discuss how Sam Little got apprehended, how Sam Little got caught. The end of Samuel Little's 4-decade killing spree began with a simple drug arrest in 2012, which eventually triggered the DNA matches that led to his conviction and life sentences. Apprehension, September 2012. Location and arrest. Samuel Little was apprehended on September 5th, 2012 at the Wayside Christian Homeless Shelter in Louisville, Kentucky. So, Samuel Little was arrested in my senior year of high school. Wow, so that's a long time ago, but he was arrested on September 5th, 2012 at a homeless shelter in Louisville, Kentucky. Tracking method. Detectives from the Los Angeles Police Department tracked him using his Social Security payments. Initial charges. He was originally arrested on an outstanding narcotics warrant from California and extradited to Los Angeles. The trial, September 2014. DNA evidence. Once in custody, DNA testing linked Samuel Little to 3 cold case murders in Los Angeles from the late 1980s. Carol Alford, Andre Nelson, and Guadalupe Apicada. I probably butchered her last name. But anyway, those are the 3 victims that the DNA was found that was able to convict Sam Little. Courtroom behavior. During the trial, Sam Little was often seen in a wheelchair and appeared casual or even cheerful. However, he maintained his innocence, even shouting, "I didn't do it," during his sentencing. Witness testimony. The prosecution successfully presented evidence from living survivors who had narrowly escaped similar strangulation attacks by Little in other states. Sentencing and further convictions. Initial sentence, 2014. On September 25th, 2014, he was found guilty and sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole for the Los Angeles murders. Expansions of convictions, 2018 and 2019. After he began confessing to 93 total murders in 2018, he received additional life sentences. Texas, 2018. He pleaded guilty to the 1994 murder of Denise Christie brothers in Odessa. Ohio, 2019. He convicted of murdering 2 women in Cleveland, sentenced to an additional life term. Death. Samuel Little died in a Los Angeles hospital on December 30th, 2020, while serving his life sentence. So at least for his victims, they can now kind of relax a little bit because this perpetrator is now deceased. But the victims can never be brought back to life, which is very unfortunate. All right, coming up next, it's our final topic on this sick scumbag. We're going to talk about what we can learn from Sam Little. That's coming up right after a word from Saturday with Alex Cardinale and some of our awesome episodes that are coming up. So we'll be back with our wrap up of this show with what we can learn from Sam Little. I'm Alex Cardinale, and I am hereby inviting you to tune in to the historic 200th episode of Saturday with Alex Cardinale. This time, it will be glitch-free. The 200th Saturday with Alex Cardinale airs live Saturday, April 25th, 2026, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. Here is what you can expect on the historic 200th Saturday. Aqua Alex will get new fish from Cindy's Pet Shop and Aquarium Center. Aqua Alex gets new koi and does a koi unboxing from Blackwater Creek Koi Farms. Alex Cardinale will review Dirty Mountain Dew. Karen's of the Week returns for the 200th episode of Saturday with Alex Cardinale. Learn about killer whales and Amazon River dolphins. There's going to be some awesome surprises. Learning about the common pleco and the pink-spotted Washington goby as Aqua Alex's featured fish. There's going to be 3 rounds of 2 truths and a lie on The Sopranos, WWE Raw, and WWE SmackDown, Yankee Spotlight, and more. Don't miss the historic action-packed 200th Saturday with Alex Cardinale, live Saturday, April 25th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. See new koi, new fish, the return of Karens, and plenty of surprises. We'll see you April 25th for the 200th Saturday on A.C.E. I'm Alex Cardinale. I'm the host and founder of Saturday with Alex Cardinale. And I'm proud to tell you, Saturday with Alex Cardinale is now 4 years old. I started Saturday with Alex Cardinale in 2022. And now, in 2026, we celebrate 4 years of Saturday with Alex Cardinale. And we're going to celebrate 4 years with a very big 4th Saturday with Alex Cardinale, which airs live Saturday, May 23rd, 2026 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And on the 4th Saturday with Alex Cardinale, you can expect plenty of surprises. Will there be surprise cameo appearances? Will there be surprise guests? Tune in to find out. Aqua Alex will get new fish. Aqua Alex will have a pond demonstration. Chef Alex will have some recipe demos. See Chef Alex, Phil Cannolis, and other great recipes. Karens are back for the 4th anniversary of Saturday with Alex Cardinale. It's the final Seagrass Farms featured fish, and a whole lot more. Don't miss 4th Saturday with Alex Cardinale, Saturday, May 23rd, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on my YouTube channel, A.C.E. Alright, here's what we can learn from serial killer Sam Little. The case of Sam Little serves as a chilling case study for law enforcement and society, exposing critical failures in the justice system while providing a blueprint for modern cold case investigations. The danger of invisible victims. The primary lesson is how systematic indifference allows predators to thrive. Little deliberately targeted women on the fringes of society, sex workers, prostitutes, and drug users, knowing their disappearance were less likely to be reported or prioritized. His decades of impunity underscore the necessity for law enforcement to value and investigate every life with equal urgency, regardless of social status. Failures in medical and forensic classification. Little's case highlights the ease with which homicides can be misclassified. Because he was a former boxer who often strangled victims without breaking the hyoid bone, many deaths were incorrectly ruled as accidental drug overdoses or natural causes. This has prompted a reevaluation of how deaths in marginalized communities are examined by coroners and medical examiners. The critical need for data sharing. The FBI's Violent Criminal Apprehension Program proved that information sharing is the most powerful tool against serious offenders. Little was able to kill for 35 years because he constantly crossed state lines. His crimes appeared as isolated incidents in local jurisdictions until they were entered into a national database where patterns finally emerged. challenging serial killer stereotypes. Sam Little's case debunked the common myth that serial killers are primarily white males. This stereotype often leads to investigative blindness, where law enforcement may overlook viable suspects who do not fit the traditional Hollywood profile. Innovative investigative techniques. Art as evidence. Investigators learned that building repertoire and providing non-traditional outlets like art supplies can elicit breakthroughs. Sam Little's hand-drawn sketches from memory became more reliable than many written records. Genealogy. Even after Sam Little's death, genetic genealogy has been instrumental in identifying his Jane Doe victims, proving that modern DNA technology can provide closure for families decades later. And that is what we can learn about Samuel Little. He is a absolutely disgusting individual, is Samuel Little. So, here is a brief recap of everything we know and we talked about of Samuel Little. Here is a complete recap of the choke and stroke serial killer Sam Little. He has confessed to over 93 murders. So far, over 60 of them are confirmed. Samuel Little has killed more victims than John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy, and many other infamous icon serial killers in American history. Samuel Little is the most prolific serial killer in U.S. history. And he got the name Choke and Stroke because as he was choking and suffocating his victims, he was masturbating to them. That is disgusting. Samuel Little is definitely a disgusting human being. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about the choke and stroke killer, Samuel Little. I want to thank everyone for watching this episode of On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale. On our next episode of On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale, we're going to take a break from serial killers and we're going to focus on one big city in the United States of America, and that is New York. On our next episode of On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale, learn about deadly New York crimes. It's part 1 of deadly New York crimes on our next episode of On the Case. So, we'll learn about Glenn Hodgman, who killed his 2 daughters and himself in a premeditated murder-suicide at their family home. And we'll also learn about Frederick Messelai, who shot and killed his girlfriend Shirley Fontanez before turning the gun on himself in a high-profile murder-suicide. All that and some more infamous New York crimes on the next episode of On the Case. Thank you for joining me as we discussed and we investigated the stroke and choke killer, Sam Little. I'll see you next time on The Case. And remember, if you see something, say something. Never be afraid to dial 911. Good night from Port St. Lucie. I, Alex Cardinale, would like to say thank you for watching this live stream on the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. I personally hope you enjoyed the live stream and the video. If you did enjoy the live stream, please smash that like button and please share this video on social media so that your friends and family can enjoy it as well. If you are a first-time viewer or new to my YouTube channel, I highly recommend hitting that subscribe button and ding the notification bell for notifications when I go live next or when I upload a video. I highly recommend subscribing so you're a member of the ACE community. Thank you for watching ACE.